distinguished representatives of states and international organizations, esteemed speakers and panelists, dear colleagues and friends, it is an honor for me to address you today. On behalf of the International Committee of the Red Cross, I'm pleased to welcome you to the 12th Regional Conference of Arab National Committees on the Implementation of IHL. We thank you all for being here, and I look forward to your valuable contributions over the following 2 days. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all states' representatives who are with us today, and to the State of Qatar for their exceptional hospitality in hosting us for this event, and for their efforts and ongoing commitment towards the implementation of IHL. We value our partnership with the State of Qatar, which has been strengthened by the recent signing of our headquarters agreements and strategic engagements between our leaderships. I'm happy to be sharing the stage with the League of Arab States, with whom we share a long-standing relationship and with whom we have strived to bring to the fore issues of critical humanitarian importance to the Arab world. Your Excellencies, every day we witness the suffering of men, women, girls and boys from the effects of conflicts, also in the Arab region, Yemen, Sudan, Gaza, and many others. Armed conflicts, other situations of violence, and natural disasters have led to massive humanitarian needs and require our collective attention. From this venue, we bear witness to a multitude of distressing events. Civilians are killed and grievously wounded, separated from their families, detained and disappeared. Entire cities are subjected to relentless shelling where hospitals, civilian objects, cultural monuments are not spared. The anguish, the cruelty, and the violations we witness never fail to provoke intense emotions, often leading to a surge of resentment that can overshadow the culture of law, the rules of war, their respect, and the positive influence they can bring when applied. In the midst of such tumultuous times, the call for reason and the steady, unwavering application of international humanitarian law become more imperative than ever before. It is to strengthen the capacity of IHL to rein in violence and cruelty, to prepare against it, that we are meeting today. We are all gathered in Doha because we share a common goal: increasing respect for international humanitarian law as an indispensable prerequisite for minimizing the humanitarian consequences, for upholding human dignity among the cruelty of armed conflict. Ladies and gentlemen, compliance with IHL begins at home. To uphold IHL means to enact adequate domestic legislation and systems to implement the various international obligations that bind states. National IHL committees throughout the region have played a key role in promoting the adoption of national legislation to integrate IHL. They have established IHL implementing mechanisms. They have promoted the ratification of treaties. They have increased efforts to disseminate IHL, including through specific training for the armed forces or diplomats. I commend the representatives of national IHL committees present here today for your efforts in building an environment conducive to better respect for IHL. At the same time, we must recognize that the work on national implementation is a continuous process. Regardless of the state of implementation in your respective countries, additional steps can always be taken. The plan of action to be adopted at this conference will reflect the various areas that we should collectively identify as priorities. For example, the rate of ratification and accession to IHL treaties is still relatively low in the Arab region. This is particularly the case for treaties related to conventional weapons, even as many areas in the region suffer from serious weapon contamination. Another area for possible consideration is on the missing, the separated, and the dead. The ICRC commends the efforts undertaken at the regional and national level to uphold the rights of families to know the fate and whereabouts of their missing relatives, search for missing persons, and prevent people from disappearing. In doing so, it is crucial to cooperate with actors at the global level through the wider ratification of key treaties, such as the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances. Our regional legal team will present a paper highlighting the good practices in this region in this respect, as well as the areas that would require further work. A third area that could be a focus of the plan of action is the protection of the natural environment during armed conflict. The Arab region is plagued by an alarming level of environmental deterioration, including due to the negative impacts of climate change. There is still a lot of work to be done to put into practice the IHL rules that protect the natural environment. We commend states who have been participating in different global avenues to do so, including the state experts meeting organized by the ICRC and the Swiss government. In the same vein, the ICRC has published updated guidelines on the protection of the natural environment during armed conflicts, and we call upon states to integrate these ICRC guidelines in their domestic legislations and military manuals. Having these areas of further work in mind, it is imperative that all national IHL committees intensify their efforts in securing further commitments from their states. In doing so, we have found that national IHL committees have played a key role in launching studies assessing the state of adherence to international law and the state of domestic implementation. They have proposed useful roadmaps to their authorities to prioritize further work. In addition, the ICRC appreciates the different initiatives taken by several national IHL committees to increase the exchange of good practices through signatures of bilateral memoranda of understanding, and I'm delighted to hear that additional MOUs will be signed on the margins of this conference. We hope that such bilateral agreements will lead to concrete results towards increased implementations in the various states represented here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is well known to this group that the work of national IHL committees can have an impact beyond the domestic borders. Thus, the ICRC calls on Arab states to contribute to a global culture of support for IHL and to take a strong position within the international community on some of the most pressing challenges of contemporary armed conflicts. In this respect, two main challenges are worth highlighting. First, the Explosive Weapons in Populated Areas Declaration of Dublin marks a crucial step forward in decreasing the civilian suffering caused by armed conflict in urban settings. We note with appreciation that some states in the Arab region have joined the declaration and call on all states to reaffirm their commitment to IHL by endorsing this key document without delay. Second, the implementation of the implications of new technologies in the ever-evolving landscape of warfare cannot be ignored. We commend the efforts of Arab states, including the League of Arab States, to address the threats posed by new technologies in the field of armed conflict. Regulating use of autonomous weapon systems is an urgent humanitarian, ethical, legal priority. States must act now to play a leading role in the negotiation of new international legally binding rules on autonomous weapon systems. Arab states' proactive engagement on this issue is necessary and timely in this vital phase, offering an opportunity to shape the international legal framework governing these new technologies for the sake of humanity. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, having talked about upholding IHL at home and strengthening it globally, let me say a word about regional cooperation. Strengthening IHL is a continuous process, as we have just said, which can only benefit from the sharing of experiences and national practices. States across the Arab region have been offering support to one another to find common solutions to shared challenges pertaining to armed conflict. Seeing representatives from the region here today, willing to work together, is proof of thriving international cooperation on the implementation of IHL. I look forward for the outcomes of this conference to advance our shared mission of respecting and ensuring respect for IHL. Next year, we will be celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Geneva Conventions, and actually the 160th anniversary of the first Geneva Convention of 1864, one of the most important landmarks in the universal acknowledgement that even wars have rules. Moreover, 25 years after the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the ICRC and the League of Arab States, the Arab region has witnessed immense progress on the implementation of IHL at domestic level. The best way of preserving this legacy is through continued, meaningful action, cooperating at the national, regional, and global level to effectively bring IHL home. I once again thank you all for attending this meeting and for your continued commitment to international humanitarian law. I wish you a very fruitful engagement and look forward to reinforcing an environment conducive to the respect of IHL. Thank you very much.